Train to the End, Episode 2 and 3 Review Analysis Tracks and Mushrooms. Episode 2 gave us our first episode of travel, and Episode 3 gave us our first stop. With these two episodes, I believe we have a solid grasp of what the formula will be, at least for the next few episodes. I'm totally up for a new wacky stop of the week formula that will give us a focused episode on each member of the Katangatan gang, as I'll be calling them. Both these episodes also gave us events that I don't think have 100% clear implications. I think the show is doing a good job of inviting the viewer to use their imagination and theorize. We have a better grasp of our characters and the dynamics thanks to their squabbling in the train. Akira is a skeptic who seems like she will be the person with the technical and random knowledge, showcased by her knowing Morse code, and she also may be a Freemason. I'm not knowledgeable on Freemason stuff, but I did not expect to see it mentioned in an anime that has nothing to do with the US. I looked it up and there is an official lodge in Tokyo, so more you know. The numbers, Mason. What do they mean? I like this cute paranoid gremlin. Hopefully she isn't too much of a conspiracy theorist. Be careful what forms you get sucked into, Akira. Nadeshiko is likely providing the book smart type of intelligence while being the more pure one. Raimi seems to have a good head on her shoulders too, considering her great points about what they should go back to get in order to be better prepared for their journey. Shizuru is headstrong and determined, also showing herself to be capable of being pretty harsh towards the others in episode 2. She may have gone into this unprepared, but she's taking it the most seriously out of everyone. It's also all the more clear that Raimi and Akira have catfights all the time, so this will clearly be a point of conflict later. Nadeshiko is the one to try to stop the fight, while Shizuru seems to not really care that much. These are just early thoughts though. It's likely Raimi and Nadeshiko will get focused in the next two episodes, so we'll have a better idea about them later. The show is really getting the creative juices flowing, so I'm doing a lot of theorizing and predicting in this post. We also got a crazy scientist who may end up being an occasional asset, like Senjiro. His scenes were very funny while also cryptic. Like a lot in the show, it's hard to know if it's just goofiness or if he's actually spinning facts that will end up being important. I was surprised that they seriously planned to go back, but I like that they were treating the girls as relatively intelligent and logical, despite their individual quirks and their age. But what I did expect was that something would prevent them from going back. I think it's up to her interpretation whether the rising water level was truly a coincidental natural occurrence, or if the world was responding to their desire to turn back. I prefer the latter theory, but it could simply be that it was an extreme version of natural water levels rising that was used narratively to stop them from going back. We can only guess right now, but with how severely messed up reality is, there could absolutely be some effect people's thoughts have on the world. This theory works with the idea that distance and space are not consistent anymore, maybe because one's way of thinking impacts where one can go. This could explain why different areas of Japan have wholly different fantastical quirks, as the collective consciousness of people can differ from area to area. This episode also brought up a psychological suggestion, which posits that issues that appear biological may be more in our head than physical. To go further on this point, maybe the key to reaching Ikebukuro is everyone having a strong desire to get there, rather than some of them just going along for the ride. But that's just a theory. Now onto the fungus. The creep factor was very well done. It was not exactly subtle that something sus was going on, but it was not too much in our face. And in the end, they left a lot up for interpretation, which I greatly enjoy. I really like the activation of the mushroom being the sauna, which fits with the enclosed moist space that mushrooms thrive in, while also being a fitting trap, since saunas are very popular and used as a way to relax after activities like traveling. One of the mushroom guys called outsiders stupid for falling for it, but honestly, I think it's a solid plan. And honestly, this is an understandable reaction, considering that their standard was people turning into animals and going and like following the animalistic instincts. So it's honestly not that stupid for them to think that having mushrooms on their head alone is actually all that crazy. What we've gone so far makes me very optimistic that we can expect a good mix of goofy and grim content going forward. If we accept what was presented about what was told to us directly, then this is basically a town full of people who are effectively suicidal, having so little left to live for in this world that they want to cut their lives drastically short. You can see where they're coming from with how messed up the world is, but this is still genuinely sad when you take this seriously. And this can be representative of the nihilistic and or pessimistic outlook a lot of people have due to the constant onslaught of negative news about the state of the world in real life. There's a variety of people here too, not just old or young. So I really think this is up for interpretation about how exactly to interpret this, but this is clearly about pessimistic outlook in the modern day. There's room left for interpretations on the mushrooms, though, as well. We know from the gang's reaction to the mushrooms that they seem to have a psychological effect on people. The girls went from being relatively normal to losing most of their drive. I'm thinking that the mushrooms draw out and or multiply the negative feelings of people. According to the head of the town, they are consenting to the situation, and based on what happened with Shizuru, they are capable of being pulled out. But if the mushrooms are making their negative feelings worse, then can you really say that they have proper consent and awareness? I'm thinking there's also a hive mind aspect to it as well. This is common for mushroom creature concepts, and is supported by the people at the end largely acting like a dumb mob, and everyone having the same negative reactions. There isn't any clear reason I could think of personally as to why the winter melons hurt the mushrooms. It might be a Japanese folklore kind of reference that I just don't know, or it could simply be a goofy solution, which honestly I would be totally fine with due to how much thought-provoking and serious stuff we already got this episode. I love this blended tone of silly and serious, so I'm totally fine with every little plot point not being deep. We've already got so much great thought-provoking stuff in this episode, so if the winter melons are just a silly way to solve the problem, I'm honestly totally fine with that. I've been gushing about the show so far in this and my previous review, but one minor potential issue that I do want to bring up, but not call a plot hole just yet, is how the gang is still able to communicate with Zenjiro through Morse code, despite the train tracks being massively torn up last episode. So I will be giving the show, the benefit of the doubt for multiple reasons. We are very early in the show, and so far the show is giving me no reason to doubt the writing, and we are also in a magical world. If the laws of space don't work properly anymore, like we know to be true, then I don't see why a train line can't get magically fixed when the characters aren't around. Maybe they're all bent, but still barely reaching each other. Though I don't think the sound would travel clearly with how messed up they are. I do want an explanation of this, don't get me wrong. This could be a very basic continuity mistake to make, and it would be dumb if they ignore the train tracks being broken just so they can have communicating with Zenjiro be a constant occurrence. But I'm not going to hold anything against the show until I have proper reason to believe this is a plot hole or a dumb convenience. So I'll just be keeping it in the back of my mind for right now, and I recommend y'all do the same. So to end on one more minor point, I feel the size of the inside of the train is portrayed very well. The visuals have drawn attention to the abundance of space, in my opinion, so hopefully we'll get some interesting use of this. What I thought of is the idea that their train slowly gets full of knickknacks, food, and stuff along those lines that they pick up across their journey, like we saw with the food that they got from the village. So I just think that would be a really fun, cool way of using the setting of the train. So to end, I am still absolutely loving this show, and I am so freaking excited to get more. This is my clear favorite of the new shows this season so far, and I hope y'all are really enjoying it too. And thank you for listening. Look out for the next one.